Deconstructing Sexual Shame, Chapter 7 is called Obsession. I was very much obsessed about a guy that I met who lived with my parents for a little while, who went to the same church my parents went to when I moved back into the area where they lived, and eventually decided I would attend the same church. It was a Pentecostal church. And I met this guy at my parents' house, and I found him annoying because we had arguments about the grace of God. We argued about alcohol consumption in Christianity. We argued about all kinds of things, and we generally did not agree. But actually, I think it was the day I met him. The words came flying out of my mouth. I'm driving home. Words came flying out of my mouth. I'm going to marry that guy in 3 years. And that was something that stuck with me in a very bad way. And I was kind of stuck on him. Even though I didn't like him in the beginning, after a few months, I found myself attracted to him and even let him know. And of course, that was met with rejection because that's what I was attracting at the time. I was kind of I have put out those vibes of, if you are attracted to me, I will run away. And if you are not attracted to me, I'm more likely to stick around. Like that was just the situation. I was very good at being friends with men because I have brothers and fathers and uncles and cousins and whatever. I can relate well to men, and I prefer relationships that don't become sexual or physical. And I did at the time. So that's what I attracted. And I got stuck because I thought he really met the criteria of what I wanted in a husband. He ticked every box, almost every box. Like 99% of the boxes and I had a massive list, believe you me. So I was stuck in my obsession about him for nearly 6 years. And it kind of ebbed and flowed. Like, we went on dates with each other occasionally. We spent a lot of time together. We were in the same church, the same worship team, and having lots of conversations and interactions. And he was single and I was single. So it was very difficult for me to get over. But one of the things that helped me to let go of my obsession was when I kind of retrained my brain, because my brain was kind of saying things like, I love him so much, I just want to marry him. And, all those kinds of thoughts going through your head that keep you stuck on a person who is not reciprocating. And then, so I had to retrain that and say, this guy is not reciprocating. God told me I'm going to marry him. It came flying out of my mouth. It was like a God thing, right? No, there is no evidence. Until he gives me evidence, the opposite is true. He has told me he does not love me. He has told me he's not the one for me. So focusing on actual real life, this is what he has said. This is what he has done. There is no evidence he does not love me. Turning, I love him. He's going to fall in love with me, into he does not love me. There is no evidence that he loves me. Let this go. And it took a long time. I had to really retrain the way that I was thinking about him. And actually, that is chapter 9. So chapter 7 is called Obsession and chapter 9 is called Hug and Release. After knowing him for 6 years, we had a weird relationship where we stopped. He would come to family dinner on a weekly basis, and he would hug everyone goodbye. And after a few months, he and I stopped hugging. He would hug everybody else goodbye and not me, because it was weird, because he knew that I liked him, right? And so we had this relationship that was never physical, or it stopped being physical in any way. And until one time on my birthday, he kissed me on the cheek, and I just went, what the hell was that? Like, oh crap, maybe he likes me now. And then a few years, like, this is, probably 3 years apart, and then another 3 years apart, I hugged him for the first time in about 6 years or 5 years or something. I hugged him goodbye at my sister's birthday party, and it was a hug and release. it was a situation where I went, wait, why am I so stuck on this guy? Oh, it's because the words came flying out of my mouth that I'm going to marry this guy in 3 years, and I got stuck on that and thought it was the word of God in my mouth. That, you know, that God had spoken through me and told me that he was the one. And I was like, no, that's not true, because there is no evidence of that being true. And so he in my mind reverted back to being a friend, and I gave him this hug goodbye, and I felt like I was releasing and going, it's not true anymore, goodbye, hug and release. And I eventually got over the guy. So that really recaps chapter 7 and chapter 9 as well. So I will come back and give you a video about chapter 8, which is an in-between story, like in chronological, it happened in between. And then I'll jump to chapter 10.